It's wonderful to be together this Sunday morning. And, you know, we come from the Judeo-Christian, the Jewish and Christian traditions, and this weekend is tremendously important for our Jewish heritage and Jewish brothers and sisters around the globe. Who knows why? McKelly? Passover dinners and celebrations have been happening around the globe this weekend. We're having ours this coming Saturday night. Very special time. Remembering what? What does Passover commemorate? I think, Michaela, yes.
When we were slaves in Egypt.
Absolutely. Yes. And the journey to freedom. And there's great to hold in our hearts. And there's so many things that oppress people, keep people in chains, and it's not only a memory of those journeys towards freedom, but the reminder that we have to keep moving. And this weekend really ties in nicely with that because we're celebrating another portion of our 150th tradition of Unitarian Society of Germantown with Reverend Bill Gardner and his wife Peggy, who were here for 10 years in the 80s. That was the Reagan years, so it was especially important to have a progressive liberal voice in the community. We'll go into Reagan another time, but perhaps I shouldn't have gone down that path. But Bill and Peggy and I and others were out in the memorial garden where we have plaques to deceased loved ones because some of the people who were here during the church life of the 80s have since died. And they're alive in our memories, and they're so important to us. And many of the people are still alive, and some are still here, and new folks have come. And we're remembering all the ways in which we stand on their shoulders. So in the 80s, Reverend Bill over there, Bill, could you stand up so the children can see you? He's a tall guy. Look at. Come on over here. Bill, come over and sit. Why didn't we do this at the beginning and have Bill and Peggy up? Peggy, would you come up here, please, too? So Bill and Peggy were here. I'm sorry I didn't do that to begin with. But Bill, here comes Peggy. Does she look like she would have been fun to be with at church? Choir member. Bill did so many important things. I just want to name a couple. He gave sermons on what it means to be a spiritually healthy man, and men being with men, and being in touch with our feelings, and how we connect with each other and our healthy spiritual partners in community and family. And the men's group has been going on ever since here. Men helping men do that and have fun. Bill was the president of the board of the Neighborhood Interfaith Movement, helping synagogues and mosques and churches and Quaker meetings come together and say, what's important in the neighborhood? We know we worship together and have different communities, but a lot of things matter, like making the park safe and helping people get good jobs, and we want to work on that together and not be separated from each other. And Bill was here at a time when war has always been terrible and painful, and in the 80s there was a lot of extra scare for good reason about nuclear war, bombs that can really hurt a lot of people. And Bill worked with others for creating peace zones and a peace movement with an interfaith coalition. And these are things that we want to keep interpreting in our own lives to make our streets safer, make sure everybody can love who they want to love. Bill was a leader in the 80s. This church voted in 1986 to have same-gender unions in the sanctuary. I was thinking that's about 29 years ahead of the U.S. Supreme Court. Pretty good under the leadership of Reverend Bill. And we now have to keep going with our efforts, and we can learn from their lessons and pull their energy. And that's what we're doing this weekend with Bill and Peggy here. So I encourage you to give them a high five or a hug sometime, maybe as you're going out to your classes. And let's just keep enjoying this and learning and growing together. We love you guys very much, and we're going to sing you off to your classes now.